Hey there, I'm Michel Casista, founder of the Small Town Business Growth Secret Community. And today we're going to talk about something almost every small town business owner gets wrong. Something I got wrong for years. Your website. Because here's the truth, you already know. Even if you never said it out loud, your website isn't bringing you customers. It's not building momentum. It's not creating predictable revenue. Most days, it's not doing anything. And deep down, you probably feel that too. Let me put it this way. A website is like a billboard in the middle of the desert at night with the light turns off. You build it, you feel proud, you hope people will see it, but nobody's driving by. Nobody's paying attention. And even if someone does stumble across it, it just sits there. A website doesn't guide anybody, it doesn't lead anybody, it doesn't nurture, follow up, or convert. It's passive, it waits, and waiting is the most expensive marketing plan on earth. Most websites are basically a catalog. Here's our menu, here's our service, here's our gallery, here's our About Us page. It talks about the business, but never talks to the customer. It dumps 47 options in front of people and hope they magically pick the right one. And you already know what happens when customers feel overwhelmed. They leave. And that ties into something Russell Brunson teaches, something he learned from the legend of direct response. The number one rules of direct response marketing is that a confused mind always says no. This isn't something I invented. This isn't something I came up with. It's something I learned inside the One Funnel Away Challenge. And once I understood it, it explains so many of my own frustration. Do you know how many times I've been to a website trying to find something I heard about and I couldn't find it? Got annoyed and left before I even figured it out. It made perfect sense. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. When you talk about something in a post or on an ad or on social media and then send people to a website that doesn't match what you just talked about, their brain disconnect. Your message and your destination don't match. It breaks the flow. And once the flow breaks, momentum dies. This is why your marketing feels random. This is why results feel unpredictable. Because there's no guided path. And once you realize that website pushes people away with too many choices, you start to wonder, what's the alternative? What's the smarter path? That's where funnels comes in. A funnel is not software. A funnel is simply a guided path that turns strangers into customers, step by step. That's it. Instead of 47 choices, there's one next step. Instead of confusion, you create clarity. Instead of hoping, you guide. Picture a funnel as wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. Right? Let's say 100 people see your message. Maybe 30 grab your attraction offer, what most people call a lead magnet. Maybe 10 buy your intro offer. Maybe 2 or 3 become long-term customers, and maybe 1 becomes a raving fan who tells everyone about you. That's predictable. That's trackable. That's math. You don't need to be tech savvy to understand math. Let's talk about something else small town business owners keep getting sold. SEO. Everybody online is trying to convince you that you have to rank higher or optimize keyword or dominate local search. SEO isn't bad. SEO can be powerful. But here's the part nobody says. What good is ranking if the place you're sending people doesn't convert? If your SEO send people to a website that confuse them, overwhelm them, or force them to click around trying to figure out what to do, it doesn't matter how high you rank. Nobody gives a shit about your gallery, your tabs, your about page, or how long you've been in business if the next step isn't obvious. Here's a simple example. If someone's hungry and they search for a place to eat, the next logical step is not a home page with 12 tabs. The next step is an offer that speaks directly to where they are right now. Hey, if you're driving through town and you're hungry, here's the fastest, freshest place to eat. That's a funnel. That's a path. That's a conversation. When you see it that way, it starts to make a lot more sense, doesn't it? Because even if your business isn't a restaurant, the principle is exactly the same. Can you see how powerful this becomes when the next step in your customer journey matches exactly what your customer wants in that exact moment. Can you see how this would work for any small town business as long as you understand where your customer is and what they need next? Because the truth is, every business is just a series of logical steps. Once you design that path, you stop relying on luck and start building predictable growth. When we owned our coffee shop, we thought our website was so cool. It looked good. We were proud of it. We inherited it when we bought the business. We didn't build it, but we believed the lie that a website automatically equals customers. But customers don't browse a menu and drive across town because of a website. It didn't guide, it didn't nurture, it didn't follow up. It just sat there like a billboard in the desert. And the business kept struggling because we didn't have a path. Here's why most websites fail. Websites assume people buy the first time. Funnels understand they don't. Website wait, funnels guide. Website hope, funnels lead. Websites show everything, funnels show the next step. Once you see the difference, you can't go back. It means you don't need a prettier website. You don't need more tabs. You don't need a redesign. You need a predictable path from stranger to subscriber to customers to raving fan. A path that never confuses. A path that never breaks. A path that works even when you're sleeping. Can you see how powerful that becomes? Before I wrap this up, I want to share something with you that's honestly hard to describe. But the closest comparison I can think of is when you watch an amazing movie. You know that feeling when you're halfway through and you're already thinking, I can't wait to show this to everyone. Not because you get anything out of it, but because it just hit you so deeply that you almost feel a responsibility to pass it on. That's the feeling I had when I finally discovered something I wish I had found years earlier. Something that would have changed everything for me back when we were struggling. And that movie moment for me was the One Funnel Away Challenge. I didn't discover the One Funnel Away Challenge while I was running the coffee shop. I wish I had. It probably would have changed everything for us. But the truth is, we had already closed the shop. We were already deep in debt. I was welding 70 hours per week, exhausted, stressed, and just trying to find a way to make extra money online so I could start digging us out. I didn't join the One Funnel Away Challenge to save my business. My business was already gone. I joined because I needed something, a path, a way forward, a chance to rebuild. But what I found inside the One Funnel Away Challenge wasn't just how to make money online. It was the reason my coffee shop failed. It was the clarity I wish someone had told me before I ever signed the papers. It was the missing piece no one in small towns talk about. It showed me the system, the structure, the customer journey, the path I never had. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Suddenly, the whole picture made sense. The slow season, the inconsistent revenue, the constant stress, the feeling of always starting from zero. It wasn't because we didn't work hard enough. It wasn't because the town was too small. It wasn't because people didn't want coffee. It was because we didn't have a system. And look around today. The economy is shaky. Costs are rising. Amazon and big box store are taking more and more attention. Customers are shopping differently. AI is changing everything. And small town business owners are getting squeezed from every direction. Nobody warns you about this stuff. Nobody shows you what to do about it. And that's why the One Funnel Away Challenge hit me so hard. Not just because it taught me funnels, but because it made me feel something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope, clarity, direction. And honestly, like maybe I wasn't as stupid as I thought I was. Because back then I used to tell myself, I'm just a welder. I'm not tech savvy. I can't even find my email without asking my kids. And yet, step by step, drag and drop, copy and paste, things started clicking. For the first time, I realized these principles weren't online business secret. They were small town survival skill. And if I had them back then, my coffee shop might still be open and thriving today. That's why I'm doing all of this. Not because I'm the guru, not because I'm the expert, but because I finally understand the system that nobody told me about in time. And I want to pass the torch so you don't go through what I went through. And that's why inside the Small Town Business Growth Secret community, I set up a special link that let you join the One Funnel Away Challenge for free. Plus, I had a bonus for community members that help you implement everything faster. Now listen, I always want to be transparent with you. Yes, the link is an affiliate link, but it costs you nothing. If someday you buy something from ClickFunnels, they may send me a small thank you commission. But I'm telling you this, the same way I'd tell a friend, the same way I'd tell my sister or my mom or anyone I care about. This is the number one thing I would give someone if they were struggling and didn't know what to do next. So here's your next step. Join the Small Town Business Growth Secret community. The link is below. Inside you'll find the One Funnel Away Challenge link and the bonus. But if you're not ready to join us yet, at the very least, check the link in the description and join the One Funnel Away Challenge, because it's the closest thing to a movie you have to go watch right now that I've found in business. And I promise you, you're just one funnel away. And I mean that. Now, here's the thing. In the next episode, we're going to talk about something most business owners completely overlook. It's not a tool. It's not an ad strategy. It's not posting more. It's not SEO. It's not content. But it's the one thing that the strongest, most resilient small town businesses all have in common. And once you see it, it'll explain why some businesses thrive even in the worst economies while others struggle no matter how hard they work. You won't want to miss it, because average business create confusion, but the one who step away from average create clarity.